Some Americans aren't chasing the American dream anymore. They're quietly leaving it behind. Not because they failed, because they found something better. In parts of Asia, Americans are renting luxury apartments for the price of a parking spot back home. Healthcare costs less than a dinner out, and life feels lighter. So today, we're looking at 7 Asian countries where Americans are quietly starting over, and why more people are making the move than ever before. Number 7. Vietnam. Vietnam doesn't make most Americans' shortlist. That's exactly why people are quietly moving there. While everyone talks about Thailand and Bali, a different kind of American is landing in Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City and staying. Remote workers, freelancers, burned-out professionals who want their life to actually feel alive again. And that's the first thing people notice here, the energy. Vietnam feels constantly moving. Street food stalls open before sunrise. Cafes stay busy late into the night. The cities feel chaotic, but in a way that makes people feel awake again. And financially, it's hard to ignore. A modern apartment in a good area can cost around $300 to $500 a month. Local meals are incredibly cheap, and even private healthcare is affordable by American standards. The internet is also surprisingly fast, better than many people expect. Now, the honest downside. Vietnam's long-term visa system still isn't perfect. Many expats still rely on visa runs, so it's not as seamless as some other countries on this list. But despite that, people stay, because life here feels different. Imagine sitting on a tiny plastic stool with a 60-cent Vietnamese coffee while Hanoi slowly wakes up around you. That's not a vacation moment here. That's just Tuesday morning. Number 6. Thailand. Thailand has been attracting expats for decades, but the Americans moving there now aren't just backpackers chasing cheap living. They're professionals, retirees who want a higher quality of life without burning through their savings. And cities like Chiang Mai became huge for one reason: balance. You get modern infrastructure, fast internet, amazing food, and a slower pace of life at the same time. That combination is rare. Living comfortably here can cost anywhere from around $1,000 to $2,500 a month, depending on the city and lifestyle. Bangkok is more expensive, but it offers luxury condos, rooftop pools, modern transit, and some of the best healthcare in Asia. And that healthcare matters. Thailand's private hospitals are so advanced that Americans literally fly there for surgeries and medical treatments because it can cost a fraction of US prices. The country also launched long-term residency options for qualified foreigners, which made Thailand even more attractive for remote workers and retirees. Of course, it's not perfect. Politics can become unstable at times, and while Thai culture is warm and welcoming, building deeper friendships can take longer than tourists expect. Still, for many Americans, the lifestyle trade-off feels worth it. Imagine ending your workday at a cafe with ultra-fast internet, then walking through a glowing night market, eating fresh mango sticky rice for just a few dollars. In Thailand, that's just normal life. Number 5. Malaysia. Malaysia might honestly be the most underrated country on this list. A lot of Americans move here and immediately say the same thing. Why did nobody tell me about this place? Because Malaysia quietly offers something many expats want: comfort without chaos. English is widely spoken, the infrastructure feels modern, the healthcare system is excellent, and Kuala Lumpur looks more like a futuristic global city than what most Americans imagine when they think of Southeast Asia. Living comfortably in Kuala Lumpur usually costs around $1,200 to $1,800 a month, depending on lifestyle. That includes a modern apartment, transportation, and eating out regularly. Malaysia also has long-term residency pathways like the MM2H program, which has made it popular with retirees and families looking for stability. And culturally, Malaysia feels incredibly diverse. Malay, Chinese, and Indian influences all blend together, which makes everyday life feel layered and interesting. Now, the downside. Malaysia isn't the absolute cheapest option in Asia, and some social laws can feel restrictive depending on your lifestyle and values. But many Americans are willing to overlook that because daily life here feels smooth. Imagine walking through a skyline filled with massive towers and luxury malls, then realizing your dinner costs less than a fast food meal back home. That's the kind of disconnect Malaysia creates for a lot of Americans. Number 4. Japan. Japan isn't on this list because it's cheap. It's here because of something rarer: quality of life. This is a country where trains arrive almost to the exact second, violent crime is incredibly low, and even convenience stores sell food better than some American restaurants. And a lot of Americans who move here describe the same feeling. Life slows down in a good way. Tokyo is expensive, around $2,000 to $3,000 a month for a comfortable lifestyle, but cities like Osaka, Fukuoka, and Kyoto are far more affordable. Rural Japan can be shockingly cheap, especially with abandoned countryside homes called Akiya now being sold for almost nothing. Japan also introduced a digital nomad visa, making long-term stays easier for remote workers than before. Now, the honest reality, Japan can be difficult socially. The language barrier is real, and integrating deeply into the culture takes time. It's one of the safest countries on earth, but also one of the hardest places to fully fit in as a foreigner. Still, many Americans don't care, because what Japan offers is hard to explain until you experience it. Order, peace, cleanliness, and a culture that treats everyday life with care. Imagine walking through silent streets at night, grabbing perfect ramen from a tiny corner shop, and realizing your stress levels have slowly disappeared without you noticing. Number 3. The Philippines. The Philippines has one huge advantage almost no other Asian country can offer Americans. English, not basic tourist English, real, fluent conversational English, and that changes everything. Americans moving here often say it feels familiar almost immediately. The culture is warm, social, family-oriented, and deeply welcoming in a way many expats find emotionally refreshing. And financially, it makes sense too. Outside Manila, many Americans live comfortably on around $800 to $1,200 a month. Beach towns and islands like Dumaguete or Siargao offer stunning scenery for prices that feel unreal compared to the US. The Philippines also offers one of Asia's more accessible retirement residency pathways, making it especially attractive for older Americans looking for a long-term move. Healthcare in major cities is solid and affordable, though rural areas can still be inconsistent. Now the downside. Manila traffic is exhausting, infrastructure varies heavily by region, and typhoon season is something you genuinely need to plan around. But despite that, Americans keep coming, because daily life here feels lighter, friendlier, more human. Imagine ending your workday watching the sunset over the ocean from a balcony that costs less than your old utility bill back home. That's everyday life for some Americans in the Philippines. Number 2, Georgia, the country. Georgia might be the biggest surprise on this list. Not the US state, the country sitting between Europe and Asia. And quietly, it's becoming one of the most interesting expat destinations in the world. Why? Because Georgia made relocation absurdly easy. Americans can enter and stay for up to a year with very little bureaucracy. No complicated visa process. You basically arrive and stay. And once people get there, they're shocked by how affordable it is. Tbilisi, the capital, blends old churches, Soviet architecture, modern cafes, and mountain views into something that feels unlike anywhere else. Comfortable living can cost around $700 to $1,200 a month. But the real reason remote workers love Georgia? Taxes. The country offers an extremely low small business tax structure that has attracted freelancers, entrepreneurs, and online business owners from around the world. And culturally, Georgia leaves a huge impression on people. Hospitality is serious here. Guests are treated almost like family. Of course, it's not perfect. Healthcare is improving but still developing. Winters can feel gloomy, and the language is incredibly difficult for foreigners. But for Americans looking for somewhere truly different, not just another expat hotspot, Georgia feels like discovering a hidden world. Imagine drinking wine in a city older than most countries on Earth, while paying less rent than a studio apartment parking fee back in America. Number 1. Portugal. Wait, we said Asian countries, and we meant it. So let's talk about the number 1 country Americans are actually moving to that sits at the gateway between Western comfort and Eastern value. Number 1, Indonesia. There's a reason Bali has its own gravitational pull. Every year, the number of Americans who come to Bali for a month and stay for years keeps growing, quietly, steadily. It's become one of the most concentrated pockets of American expat life on Earth. And it doesn't feel like an expat bubble. It feels like a world unto itself. Why? Because Bali cracked a code that most places can't. It's affordable and beautiful. It's culturally rich and internationally accessible. It has world-class food and ultra-cheap local food. It has fast internet and spiritual depth. Cost of living. In the right neighborhoods, Canggu, Ubud, Seminyak, you can live genuinely well on $1,200 to $2,000 per month. Private villa with a pool? Often $600 to $900 per month if you know where to look. A smoothie bowl from the cafe downstairs? $3. Visa. Indonesia launched its second home visa, a 5-year renewable visa with relatively modest financial requirements. For remote workers, there's also a pathway. Bali is actively trying to formalize what's been an informal expat wave for years. Healthcare. Strong in the main expat areas. Hospitals in Denpasar are good. For serious care, Singapore is a short flight away, which is how most high-end expats handle major medical events. Culture. Bali is Hindu in a predominantly Muslim country, which gives it a completely unique spiritual atmosphere. Ceremonies happen constantly. Offerings appear on every doorstep every morning. There's incense in the air. There's a rhythm to Balinese life that is genuinely ancient, and for many Americans, genuinely transformative. The honest downsides? Traffic in South Bali can be nightmarish. The expat boom has driven up prices in certain areas, and some Americans find that Bali's spiritual scene has attracted a population of wellness influencers that can feel performative. Finding the real Bali takes intention. The unexpected detail. Some of Bali's most successful American expats aren't remote workers. They've built businesses here. Cafes, surf schools, yoga studios, real estate. Bali has an entrepreneurial energy that rewards people willing to engage with it on its own terms. Who loves it most? The person having a genuine moment of, what am I doing with my life? The creative. The person who needs beauty around them to function. The entrepreneur willing to start something. Imagine waking up in a villa surrounded by rice terraces. The air smells like incense and frangipani. A driver picks you up for $8 to take you to a co-working space with a rooftop pool. You have a meeting at 9, lunch at a warung for $2, and you're surfing by 4 p.m. And your rent is $700. That's not a vacation. That's someone's actual life, right now. Here's what all 7 of these countries have in common. They're not perfect, none of them are. They each have bureaucracy, language barriers, cultural friction, and infrastructure gaps that will test your patience. Anyone who tells you otherwise is selling something. But they also offer something America, right now, is struggling to provide. Space, room to breathe, a slower heartbeat. A life where you're not just surviving the month. The Americans quietly moving to these places aren't failing. They're not running away. They're making a calculation. A quiet, rational, deeply personal calculation that the life they want is more possible somewhere else. Maybe that's you, maybe it isn't. But knowing these options exist changes something. Because the hardest part isn't the visa, or the language, or the flight. The hardest part is allowing yourself to ask the question, what if there's a better way?